Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to my global family. This is Ntsiki Ncoco on Power to Lead show. It has been a while. I took some break, back online, back at work now. Welcome to all our supporters, our viewers. Thank you for being with us through all seasons of life, and thank you for supporting me and my family when we're going through a difficult time. Thank you so much. I am not alone today. My famous line. And today I have a special guest. I'm going to bring him on stage so that we can start together. It's so good and so great to be back together again. Let me bring my guest to the stage. Let me bring my guest to the stage. Oh, wow. Yes, I promise that in this season, it will be lions, not lionesses, that will be showing up because we are building this legacy coaching thing
Mhm.
together. So I have a lion of Africa today. His name
Mm.
is Will Zondo. I'm going to end there. For now, I'm going to ask him gently to open for us with a word of prayer.
Mm.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the platform. Let us close our eyes as we invite God. Father in heaven, we as human beings are naturally feeble, but you say, come and let us negotiate. Your rules are strong and powerful, but protective at the same time. As we share the gifts of the Holy Spirit that you give us, that we share with the world, open our hearts, open our minds, and those that are receiving to be impacted upon. All this in the wonderful name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen and amen. Let me join you after we agree in prayer. Thank you so much for saying yes to the call to come to Power to Lead show and to empower somebody. This is Empower Hour.
All
We
right.
speak
All right.
goodness, life, passion, purpose. And it is so good to have you today. Our mission as Power to Lead show, firstly, is to heal
Yeah.
anything, starting from ourselves. As we do this, we start with ourselves to heal before we
Oh,
heal
yes.
other people. Oh, yes, oh, yes. And empower people, inspire, impact, influence. And this is about a legacy and inheritance and heritage of who we are on earth when we do that. So I'm so grateful today. I have a motivational teacher, speaker, inspirer who is going to talk to us. Now, we people want to know, our viewers out there, who is Will Zondo? We don't read the bios for one reason. Power to Lead show is here to empower people to be confident of who they are. You know this famous line in Xhosa that umntu yinkosi ukuzazi, right?
Uh-huh.
Therefore,
Uh-huh.
you know yourself better. So tell us so that we know. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Well, to the listeners and viewers out there, welcome one more time. This is the Eagle's Heart Life Coach, Will Zander. And, in the Bible, it refers to the Lion of Judah, it refers to the wings of the eagle. And God mentions these animals specifically because of the leadership qualities and aspects of life as it shows. So when I decided to call my program, I said, this must be the eagle's heart. Because you look at the eagle, it's got certain aspects. It's a seven. We're going to address those later on. But this is Will Zondo, your coach, your motivator. Background: I've been in IT for the rest of my life, from technical support, web development. Recently, I finished it was on project administration, and I do empower my skills to the community. At one time, I was running an IT skills program at JL Zwane Center in Guguletu, NY2. This was empowering the community from the young age, primary to organizational leaders, because ICT skills will make you more fluid. in your leadership. You don't rely on anybody else. Here's an example. We have a host right here who can troubleshoot StreamYard, who can troubleshoot YouTube, who can troubleshoot. You name the browser, she knows the settings. That's what leadership is all about, self doing it. So after doing the technology business for Shell, while I was at Shell, one lady identified my ability to take the cookie jar from the top shelf to the bottom shelf so that the short ones and the young ones can reach it. That is knowledge. There is some knowledge in the world that certain people understand it, and I am able to transcend down where a child can even understand. She pulls me into the project. She says, I want you to go around the country, South Africa, that is in Shell, to go and do what is called information change management, changing from one technology system to another, but transformation of skills. So I traveled around the world, and that exposed to myself my abilities after she did that. One problem though, I was a technical person. So I'll get in there, do my technical stuff. However, I was good at teaching them technical stuff that seemed complicated, making them simple. So one lady, Caroline, says to me, you need to begin to read widely because you read technical a lot. So I started reading books. When I started, not that was the first time, just to branch off. When I grew up back at home, my mom and my dad, especially my dad, he used to say, read the newspaper and tell me when I come home. So he didn't read the newspaper. I told him what was in the newspaper. I didn't like it at all. My mother gets me a go to the library, become a member, take a book and read every time. Then it looked like an impossible exercise. These parents are unfair. They're making me do this thing. But today, I can read a book in no time. Today, I can read any book, any subject, produce a training manual, user manual, and trainer's manual in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Powerful this skill has been from childhood to working at Shell. So that's what it was. So after empowering the users at Shell, and I was also identified to support leadership team, the CEOs and managers. They don't like you to come in the office and fumble around to try to solve a problem. They want to see that you can do it and you are doing it. But also how you handle them was very key to everything else. That was one step. So once we finished the project, I began to think, I am able to do this. What can I add to my skills? I began to read the likes of Dr. John Maxwell books, Dr. Dreyer, Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention. That was one of the first books I liked. And then I bought a book called Success. What is Success? I started buying books and I read somewhere that if you want to be a good leader for yourself, you must lead yourself. Build a library. I began collecting books. And do you know in South Africa, it's great. You can walk in the streets of Cape Town and there'll be books in a corner for 20 rands and 50 rands. Books you can get for 500, 300 rand in a bookshop. And I started buying two, three at a time, two, three at a time. One friend says to me, you're buying so many books. When are you going to read them? I'm like, by the way, one writer says, I don't have to read to finish a book, but there will be a point of reference when I need to read. So some books I read to finish, some just because of the topic, I browse the index and I say, okay, one day I'm going to read this. And when I have a challenge, I go straight to the book, to the index, read that. So some books I read in to find solutions to what I want to do as I build a training. So I did that. So since then, and in 2005, was it, when Shell changed to say UK, say to South Africa, you'll be independent. So we had to reapply for our jobs. Then I had moved from IT to retail because I wanted to add on to the skills. Unfortunately, last in, faced out. I was retrenched. Boom, I was down. For a year or two, I was blackout. I could not think. I could not do anything else. But funny enough, I was busy in the community empowering young people and other groups. That alone built in into this bubble of coaching. Then I decided I should register. I cannot just be doing this. I came across a program called Lumina Learning. Now, Lumina Learning marries the two: psychology, business psychology, and technology. We'll talk about it as time goes by, or maybe for another day. But Lumina Learning is the system that I use a lot when I'm doing my. It covers all angles of life: neuro-linguistic, it covers psychology, it covers about emotional intelligence. It is so powerful. If you are in human resources, if you're watching this, if you're in human resources, Lumina Learning for all human resources consultants and managers is the tool you want to empower yourself with. This is the reason. When you employ people, you want to know that they love people. When you employ people, you want to know that they can forgive and forgive themselves. And so it talks about self a lot and its application thereof. So I moved into those and then I did other courses in terms of CBT, cognitive behavior transformation. I did two neurolinguistic certifications, one is in UK, two are in America. I did group coaching. I did other courses that, on LinkedIn, when you become a premium member, there's courses that open up. So I have done a few of those, maybe 50 or 60 of those, in line with coaching, in line of leadership. However, Christian wise, I'm a Seventh day Adventist member and I'm a master guide. Master guide is literally a coach that coaches youngsters from the age of 4 all the way to 16 and upwards. This program is about 1 year to 3 years, depending on how you want to do it. It's equivalent to master guide, to masters, because what you do is you get to summarize books. They give you a chance to go observe kids and see how they behave. Having done that program, I got so empowered again to realize, hey, my coaching skills can go beyond. So I married the two, that in the church and that of business coaching. So when I do my coaching, personal and business, community, and NGOs, I run what is called strategic planning sessions for schools, be it a primary, be it a high school. I run strategic sessions for NPOs because most of the times they do not have a strategic documents on written down. They operate on the dream they had, they operate on the need they saw, but when you ask them, so what systems do you have in place? Most do not have. So I come in, I do that, and have a relationship to begin to develop marketing plan, fundraising plan, maintenance plan, if they have got places to operate from, or retainer of volunteers. How do you retain volunteers? How do you attract volunteers? How do you begin in fundraising? If you want to do international fundraising, I tap into that. Right now, I'm full time doing coaching and operate from home. I don't have an office specifically. Digital, I do online, digital, phone call, WhatsApp, whatever suits you. If we need to go and talk in the park, we do that. That's where I am at right now. Thank you for inviting me. This is Will Zondo, your Eagles That Life coach.
Wow. And now you just mesmerize all of us, Just the introduction is just so powerful. And that was laser coaching, actually.
Hmm.
You touched on a lot of things. And what I loved the most was that you also touched deeply on healing,
Oh yeah.
forgiveness.
Oh yeah.
Forgiveness is healing. That's where we all start heal ourselves first, forgiving yourself first for whatever reason, where you feel you have failed yourself or you didn't do well, and forgive yourself for, procrastination, anything, losing opportunities. Maybe they were in front of you, you didn't see them, so that you can get up and get going and be empowered. What a wonderful introduction. What I love about your introduction is that you introduce yourself with telling us your story,
Yeah.
the experiences you've gone through. I want
Yeah.
to know, in the books that you have read, do you love reading, handle the book, or audiobook, or how do you read the books? Do you sometimes read from back to front?
Hmm. Well, one of the sessions I run is on learning styles. We as individuals, we do have different learning styles. Some people learn by touching, tactile. Some people learn by auditory. Some people learn by visual, they want to see. Some people just learn by listening. As simple as that. So through the years, I have acquired almost all the skills. I apply both. There are times I want to touch a book, you know, page the books as I read, get lost in the book. It's very interesting. And when I am busy driving and moving around, I do the audiobooks. When I'm at home, I don't want to read a book. I don't want to listen. I want to watch somebody talking about the book. I do YouTubes. So I would do as I go, depending on the mood or the situation. I find that situational, hence we talk about situational leadership, self leadership. You've got to know what tact, what tool to apply to do your own self development. Dr. John Master talks about intentional growth. So when you've got intentional growth, intentions of growing, you will know when to do audio, when to do visual, when to do YouTube, when to get a book or to read a book. So through reading the books, how do I choose my book? Do I read a book and finish? I've not read a book to the end at one time. I finished the books, but I'll come in and go. Recently, I'm launching a program called 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day. I don't care how big that book is, read 10 pages a day, which means you will repeat the 10 pages, which means as you repeat, it gets to build the neural line about that specific information. As you move to the next 10 pages, the brain can reconnect and reconfigure. And therefore, by the time you finish that book, you'll be able to explain, apply to somebody else who doesn't know the book. I say to people that I'm coaching that want to become readers, you do three things. One, read a book, which is what is called the learned knowledge. You've learned about it. Then is what is called application knowledge. You apply the knowledge in your life. Once you apply, then is what is called teach knowledge. So these three are very important. You learn, you apply, you teach. So the way I read my books is the ultimate is, can I share this with someone? And when I'm sharing it, can I make it as simple as it's possible so that they understand it? They go like, I want to get the books. I want to get the book. Send it to me. So I read randomly. I read differently, but it's all intentional, though random.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it makes sense.
It does. It makes sense. Beautifully so. One word, intentional, in everything that you're doing when you touch that book. Now, I want to give you a bottom line and say you're a versatile reader.
Oh, thanks.
You innovate, very innovative, and you even give reasons why you do it this way. Why is the audio, and what situation are you in when you're doing the audio? You're driving and the
Yeah.
audio. I love, Dr. John Maxwell. I was trained, by him as well, and beautifully so. And what I like again about him, let's talk about one famous quote of Dr. John Maxwell on this leadership as we still talk about how to inspire and motivate people.
Yeah.
He says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Can
Oh,
you expand on that?
true.
Sweet
Everything
and short and powerful.
rises on leadership.
Yeah.
You know, change begins and gets to be implemented from leadership point of view. If a leader is not willing to change, that organization is not going anywhere. So a leader must be dynamic to say and to be able to foresee what is going to take place. So you look in the back, look now, you look in the future, and you say, okay, that's coming. And if that's coming, that now becomes what I would say strategic information in the organization. Because strategic information is saying this is how we will behave when this happens. But that decision was made 10 years ago. So you make a decision 10 years now, 10 years in the future, when you come to that point, you just execute what was decided. So everything rises and falls on leadership. Recently, we have seen, even in government, leaders that come in and go. It's a simple thing. Everything is rising and falling on leadership. So whoever we are, whoever you are, this statement that says everything rises and falls on leadership. It is in your hands to understand what needs to change. If it means you have to step aside, someone to step in, which is called situational leadership, that's what you do. They're not taking your position. Be able to identify your weakness, identify the strength in others, and let them take action. Because at the end of the day, you are leading and helping them to develop and to grow. So everything will rise and fall on leadership.
That's so beautiful. And I love what you just said now. You're even touching on that 360-degree leadership by Dr. John Maxwell again, that you can
Oh,
lead from the front, you can lead from the back. If it's time for you to lead from the back and let others be in front, actually, he says you become the greatest leader when you develop leaders that are greater than you. You know, how beautiful is that to know your strength and where you fit in and how to delegate? Because that's delegation. How do you delegate in coaching?
well, by collaboration, literally in coaching, and sometimes you cannot do everything. So when you identify that that I cannot do, you delegate by collaboration. Now, because I'm an individual, I do not have a team that is permanently with me. Delegation is by finding someone who is doing it, who can do it, to do exactly that. I'll give you an example. I cannot do physical coaching. That is done by physical fitness coaches. And so I'll do a program, and one of the coaches that I work with is called Coach Nali. He's from Mfuleni. And I would work with him and say, listen, I will do the mental side. You will focus on the physical side. That's part of delegation. But also, let's come back to my Christian life, so to speak. There's a lot of delegation that I do by empowering, by letting others do. You will find that maybe I'm requested to go to different places, but by the time I leave, or when I do the program, I always say, I need to have two children and two adults. And I take what I was supposed to do, give it to them, and I summarize. So I come walk with me, do as I do, and then you do what I did, and I watch you do it, and I see you can do it, and we move forward. Because when you begin to
Wow.
do that, you are building leaders, you're empowering them.
Wow. Beautiful. Then that could be kind of you give them for whatever hours it is, it's some kind of internship, training them on the job as you do this and leave them with the assignment.
Yes, we prayed in the beginning, right? And
Yes.
the best internship program that was ever designed by God was discipleship. That program is the blueprint of internship. Any leader that's running an organization should read that story when he says, come and I'll make you fishers of men. That's internship.
Wow. In
Because when we
trained
get
on the
interns in
job.
organization, we
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Mm. Ah, carry
when we
on.
get
Yeah. Mhm.
children in the company for internship, we they don't have experience. So we say do as they do. So we assign them to leaders, and then they say, go do this. This is how you do it. Go do this. Eventually, they get to be employed to do what they were doing as they were being shown. So when you look at the blueprint of Jesus Christ on leadership and internship, leadership and intentional growth, leadership and delegation, leadership and you do it, I watch, you do it and I go. It's now yours. This is what organizations should do. So when you're looking at internship, for me, that's when I work with anybody, that's to me reflects so much that Jesus was intentional. Come and I'll make you fishers of men. And if a leader in an organization will go like, come and I'll make you entrepreneurs, the language and the behavior will completely change. It's not as easy as that, but it takes transformation to say, I'm going to build entrepreneurs in my organization as interns. I'm not doing them to keep them, to oppress them, but to say, hey, if you can do better than me, rise above. We are going to build the best African continent ever.
Wow. If somebody knows a good book, some call it a Bible. I love to call it a good book because it is so good. It's a
Oh, yeah.
life manual, you know. Now you are on that level of saying he delegated after discipleship. Now he says, go ye therefore and teach other nations what I
Oh, yeah.
taught you. That's
Hmm.
delegation. And now leading from the back now, you know,
Yeah,
on that 360-degree leadership now, and leave you on the ground.
I tell
How,
you.
yeah, just roll with that again.
Now, in terms of 360 leadership, is that, he allowed them to make mistakes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he never said, why did you make that mistake now? But he allowed them to make mistakes. They even go to him and say, but we tried it. But how come these demons listen to you?
Mm.
We tried, they're not, they're even fighting against us. And so when you delegate, when you're working with people, you must know they will not do it perfectly in most of the times. But you're there to cover their back and say, okay, that was a mistake. Don't do this, how you do it again. And you go on. When I'm dealing with coaching with those that are in corporate world, you'll find out like, listen, I cannot understand my leader. And right now I'm put in a spot whereby I'm on a microscope. And I'm saying, go to basics. Take your contract, look at the contract. What are the basics you're supposed to deliver? Start working from there. One. Two, today, what are you expected to deliver? Find the feeders to what you want to deliver. Because if you don't have the feeder into what you need to deliver, you'll have an empty pot. So 360 degrees says, I can do it, but I cannot do it alone. It's 360 degrees. East, south, west, north. There are easters and southerners and northerners. You are in the middle here as a person. So you need to look at it and say, okay, who do I employ at this point in time? What skill? Do I have it? I don't have it. Who has it? And whoever has it, can they do it? Even if it's a youngster, they may be interested. They just need your guidance. But eventually, they will lead as you step back.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Right there, let's have a break. I just want to show up one of the programs that we are doing as Power to Lead show. We'll be back just after 2 minutes. There we go. Hello, my global family. This is me, Power to Lead show with Ncoco, the Platinum Queen. I am so excited that we have started new episodes. She's focusing on the African theme. Once a month, we'll be showcasing the African queens and kings at any level that would love to showcase their African way of doing things, who love who they are, their authenticity. For me, I say the organic way of who we are, ubuntu bethu, humanitarian aspect of the essence of who are these people from Africa. our love that we want to give to the world. So please show up when we do this. The important thing is that we'll be speaking our African languages and dressing up in our African theme, African regalia, or attire, whatever you call it. So, in any way, if you'd love to be part of what we are doing at Power to Lead Show, because of our legacy, heritage that we want to show up to the world. So please just DM me, Ntsiki Ncoco, on all platforms. Or join me in a beautiful way of collaborating with us, sponsor a show and promote your product. Email me, powertoleadshow@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being with us. And for liking my YouTube page, please like, share, above all, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please, there, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and I love you. This is the power that will never end to love who we are and showcase more than we've been doing and bringing on more on the Power to Lead show. Thank you. On Power to Lead show, you touched on how Africa will be great, right? This is why there is a show that looks just on the voices, authentic voices from Africa, like your voice, would be wearing our African attires. I love that's my first love, my African attire. And to speak the language, not to lose who we are, and not to speak English. It's a medium way of, English. We know everyone wants to speak English so that we can hear each other. I would love to speak Xhosa, and I'd love to hear you speaking Chichewa or any other language you would say. This is it.
Yes, yes, yes.
You can just greet us in Chichewa now and tell us how, whatever beautiful message, Over to you. I love the African.
Well, muno ndi mu Africa, munthu ndi anthu. Munthu akamayankhula kumamumvetsera. In Malawian language, we say, apawo ndi mizu akomana pansi. That idiom says, those of the village, they are like a tree's roots, they meet under the ground. Moni
Wow.
nonse, takulandirani, we love you. Malawi, the name Malawi means fire. The lake Malawi. When you look at the lake, it looks like there's fire burning on top of even the tarmac when you're driving. That is called the Malawi Amoto, the flames of fire. So Malawi is flames. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. We used to sing one song, a chichewa, a choir. Yay.
Yeah.
And we really did justice to the song. I was in Pretoria.
Yes.
So in we decided when we're given songs to sing in a choir competitions for fun. So we decided to sing that song in a different language. I tell you, by the end, everyone was standing, because we didn't even look at the hymnals. How beautiful it is when you learn each other's language. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for giving us a glimpse of that. When we do authentic voices from Africa, you will come back wearing your African attire, and most of it will talk about what is the heritage that we can learn from Malawi and how we can, preserve it and pass it on. Because what we want to do is to pass on the baton or baton to the next generation so that they don't forget. There was
That's true.
no books before. Remember, there were no books. How did
No.
we get information from the elderly?
Storytelling. You're asking just the gist of what is called communication. You see, in Africa, we didn't go to learn masters in communication, but we had everything taught storytelling by the fire. In every village, in every household, there's a corner where there's a fireplace. When you're eating, you go sit by the fire. And when you finish, you still sit there, and the elders would tell you stories from Mandulo now and going
Yeah.
forward. And these stories were real stories. Some may be fictional, but most of them were real. And so you'll be asking questions. Tell us about what you did when you did what you were doing. I remember, radio. In the villages, the radio playing in the house across the fields. You could hear it because it's quiet. It's in the village, and when it's night, it's even worse. You can hear it louder. And such times when I miss the village life is that the peace of mind you have with connecting with nature. I don't have to go hiking to connect with nature. When you live in an area like that, you hear the cricket, you hear the frogs, you're able to identify each and every animal and call it out as you're sleeping. You're sleeping lullaby. It is the sounds of these animals in the night. The kids of today, they'll be going, oh, mommy, there's a frog, I can hear a frog. With us, it was like, wow. You hear the frog, you hear the birds. And in the morning, when the cock crows, oh, it's time you begin
Yep.
to stretch. It's time to go, and work in the field or go collect mangoes, go collect fire, put the fire together. So, legacy, African legacy,
Yeah.
today, it's been diluted a lot because we don't do this. When one of the things that reminded me was I was at a camp uh, with the Pathfinders, and I came out. They were doing a campfire, and one boy, Mdleleni boy, he was singing these traditional songs of either Okupuma Ukungena,
Mhm.
Ingoma Zamakwetha and stuff like that. And
Mm.
I watched from the distance the way he had the rhythm, the way he has a passion. I'm thinking, we need to introduce a session of heritage as we teach our kids and the significance of that. And the confidence in this boy is beyond. And he's singing in such a way that he can look at an older person and is portraying a message that I know who I am. And these songs, I know what they mean. Our kids, they know, yes, Jesus loves me. It's good. But what do they know about our traditional songs? That we just have to sing them by the fire. We need to bring it. We need to have what is this? What in English they call it family gatherings or family get together. We go to a place and it must be in a tent camp, not in a chalet, not where there's TV, but in a tent where you wake up and you're taught how to make fire out of nothing, where you cook by the fire. You get the smoke all over you. You're gonna see here this kid, Daddy, I can't do this. I want to go back. I can't watch TV. I want to do this and that. We have lost it. These kids, they think it's a punishment. And it is an African. That's what it means to be African. Hence, when you go to the European countries in their museums, they have got these fire traditional places with big pots and showing Africans cooking and having life. We don't have them in our own countries. What are we
Sure.
doing? We are losing the essence of Africanity. We're losing it. We need to deliberately do it. I can almost say every township in Africa should have a traditional library or a museum that all these things are there. We don't have to go long distances to get to learn about these things. Secondly, in the community, including yourself, begin to open up your house, get the young girls and talk about traditional dance. I'm going to touch on something. I mean, when we're in PE at the funeral, you and your sister engaged in traditional dance. That was amazing. I'm saying
Mm,
these things your kids have no clue, and we
yeah.
need to begin to bring those things. Those of you that are watching today, and you've got kids in town, and there is lalini, the house is falling apart. Go back, just fix it, because when you take the kids out of the concrete jungle, you reconnect them with nature. When they go back to school, they're even fresher and sharper because they can hear the frog at night. They can hear six different animals, and that's the power of nature. African legacy is more powerful.
Absolutely. You know, you just mesmerize me. I'm sitting back and listening, and I imagine this academy, the village where we show, we teach with experience and showing them how we grew up and how beautiful it is to live the culture and traditions of our own and to
Yes,
be authentic, still have the garden in your backyard, still touch the ground, do
that's it.
what beautiful things. And
Walk
now you
bare
touch
feet.
on exactly. You touch on something I wanted to also ask you before we end. That do you think we still have a long way to live with a hard copy of a book, or everything will move into AI? This is the fourth industrial revolution. Do you think writing books, as we still write and we launch the books physically, it will be a long term in future?
Remember, I talked about intentions.
Yeah.
We need to have an intentional plan to keep the printing books alive. Technology is here to stay forever. Here's the difference: technology can crash and not work. A book does not crash, still stays on your bedside. You can reach out and read it anytime. Technology is technology. It can be corrupted. You may lose information. There has to be a backup. But that book, when you buy it, it will look in your face and you're able to read it. Sometimes when we touch and feel the book, for me, I learned somewhere, I was reading somewhere, and I've practiced it. When you read with your finger running line by line, you read faster, by the way. This is
Mhm.
how we teach our kids when they're growing up, isn't it? We point to
Mm.
the pictures and the words, and they easily remember that. And when they read, they start pointing again as they read. We need to bring that back intentionally in the households. When I read the Bible, I also use the same thing, or in a book. I run my finger line by line. And do you know when you run line by line, even if you're tired, the eye follows the finger and you read the right word, you will not make a mistake.
Wow.
When
Wow.
you open it and read from a distance, you will repeat a line when you're tired. You repeat a paragraph and go, I'm finished, I'm done. You close the book. But when you read line by line, there's a connection of your touch, the feel, the word, the emotions, and you keep reading it. That's the power of book. Printed word is more powerful.
Wow.
Are we
Printed.
assuming that? Are
Mhm.
you assuming that everyone is going to have access to technology? It's going to take some time. Now, for that same reason, besides that, we need to be intentional in our households to build published library books. I'm busy building a library in my life, in my house. Every household, if you're listening and watching, if you're going to take something tonight, is to build a library in your house. Because when the electricity is down, you can take a candle and still read a book. That means when the power is out, AI will be off, computer will be down, but the book has a permanent power to it. Print it and you can read it just with a candle and your eyes. That's the powerful thing you can remember. Thank you.
Wow, that's so powerful. You know, I'm running this line. I love this famous line. It stays in the studio. You have the power to create wealth and eradicate poverty and lack. The power is within you. And you just came to
True.
inspire us. You inspired us with the wealth of knowledge. Wealth is not only in monetary terms. Can you speak into this line? Your own version, how to, as you inspire, our topic is how to inspire and motivate people. So you inspire us with this great wealth of knowledge and eradicating poverty of lack of knowledge because people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Oh yeah. You see, when you inspire and motivate, it's a crucial to do that, but you have to inspire and motivate with your lifestyle. Your lifestyle must be an inspiration. Your lifestyle must be a motivational aspect of life. So that when people look at you, they must go, okay, I want to be like that person, or I want to take that, that, and that, and that. When they feel down, just to look at you, they must feel motivated to do something. Or they're trying to do something else and they feel like it's not going anywhere else. They look at your life, you keep going, they must feel motivated. But when they speak to you, they hear you saying exactly what they're going through. You went through the same thing, and you're going through the same thing as they're going through the same thing, and yet they're inspired by you. It's because you inspire yourself, you motivate yourself. Therefore, you shine out like a light, it touches others. There's that statement that says, the light that lights the other light doesn't lose its own light. That's inspiration and motivation. By simply doing it. When you get a light, a candle that's going to light this candle does not lose its light, but yet it passes the light, this candle to light. And so when you are self sufficient in the knowledge you have, when you are confident, when you know who you are, when you think about your thoughts, when you look at what am I thinking, what at most of the times in my life. Look, there was a some doctor I know from Swaziland. He's a life coach, and he says most of the times people are thinking negative thoughts. Most of the times, and so he says to me, "Your job is to transform that they think positive thoughts."
Mm.
Hence, I came up with a vision statement that I have. If you have a mind, you can imagine. And one of the practices that I do for inspiration and motivation is I find that when I'm teaching the youngsters or something new they don't know, I ask them to close their eyes and say it several times. Because as you say it, your eyes closed, you see it. You see nothing but that. Though it's voice from your own, but you're actually planting it. And when you open your eyes, you can actually say it and do it. So, for one to inspire, be inspired, have someone that inspires you, have someone that motivates you. I've mentioned two gentlemen that no longer lives, but the legacy of their writing live on. They inspire me consistently. Every single day, I almost listen to the difference maker, how to live every day, or Dr. Wayne Dyer when he was talking about the power of intention, the intent to do something. That is the most powerful thing. The program you're running here, it is intentional. The power of intention is so good that you do it. And Dr. Maxwell says, when you ask someone else, do you have an intentional growth plan? Almost everyone does not have it, because we don't really do this thing intentional growth plan. And when you talk about it, and all of a sudden go, oh, okay, now I get it. We go into automatic mode that we do one degree after another certificate. That's not intentional growth. It's been lined up for you to do. Intentional growth says, I'm doing this because of this, because I want to do this so that I can do that. After doing that, I'm going to be doing that. That's intentional growth. Everything has a purpose, has a result. That is what we're talking about. Inspire, and motivate. First yourself, then others will be
Yeah.
motivated. And sometimes as a coach, I sit down and I'm going through things. I'm thinking, but who's going to coach me? Hence, they say a coach must have a coach. You know,
Yeah.
as a coach,
Mhm.
I have a coach, but I've got coaches around me through books, through audio, through things that I'm doing. I get inspiration of things and I begin to write my sessions. I begin to write what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes even by watching news. A problem inspires a thought of a coaching program or something I'll just write down. I mean, having said that, I'm working on getting a blog up because of all these things that I've been writing and putting together. So I can just put it in there so people can read and understand. So be inspired, be motivated so you can inspire and motivate.
Wow, that's beautiful. You know what I like about your legacy. This is what I have. You have a mission and you have a vision
Oh, yeah.
and you have goals and you put them down. You put them down very intentional about your mission and your vision. It's not about self, it's about others too, you know? That's beautiful. So it's about building the community and making sure as you rise. I have another famous line that as you rise, lift me up. As you rise, you are lifting others
Yes.
up, definitely to be at your level. Now, what is the difference between a motivational speaker and a motivational teacher?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. A speaker that it, well, let me make it simple, maybe the way it sounds. A motivational speaker speaks. Um, a teacher, I'll take the word speak and teach. When you teach, you are looking at systems that you're empowering the person to take with to go and apply. When you motivate as a speaker, it's short lived. Motivational speech, short lived. Motivational teaching, long term.
Wow, powerful.
Now, so when you simply stand up to motivate, you stand up and just speak. You don't even provide tools so that they can go on and continue. Whereas a motivational teaching, you're saying, I'm motivating you to begin to teach yourself. This is how I've done it. These are the tools. This is where you go. This is what you do. So take this, do that, and do this. Oh, and you can speak to this person; they can help you. So motivational teaching is you motivate, but you're teaching for people to be self motivated. Motivational speaking is short lived. Now, done, boom to the point. See it for yourself.
Wow. Absolutely beautiful. This is so inspirational. And wow, this is Empower Hour at Power to Lead Show with Ntsiki. If you don't know who is our guest today, really, where there's will, there is life coaching. So I would recommend that you follow Will. He has a YouTube channel and he has a pager. It's just running through. It's running through our ticker there on the Google sites. The Eagle Heart Life Coach home. Please visit and get some more information and on how to be motivated. We need to inspire and motivate more. I love this more because we're going towards a holiday. And
Yeah.
this is the end of the year. People will look back and say, I didn't do a thing in this year, I didn't get anything, and they become demotivated. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
pick them up as we closing down, how to motivate them to even look beyond, there will still be fruits.
Let's do it. I'll start with two things. You talked about my vision and mission statement. Now, that's what motivates me. So, the difference between the vision and the mission statement is that vision statement is the desired future, it's what you want to have. Whereas the mission statement, it is what you do daily to achieve the vision. Vision, desired future, the dream, the house on the mountain, by the river, the 4x4, 2 million in the bank. These are specific things you put in. That's your vision. The mission says how to get the million. So, in other words, the things you do daily, and this is what it is: objective and goals. Goals, long term; objective, short term, daily, per hour, 2 hours, 6 hours. Those are objectives to achieve the goals. Achieving goals, fulfilling the mission, fulfilling the mission, achieving the vision. So,
Wow.
whatever you're doing in your life, if you've never defined your vision, define it. Because when you define a vision, wind will blow in your life. But because you've got a vision, you stay straight and you keep going. You may lose the direction, but you will come back. Here's an example in the 7 habits of highly effective people. Dr. Steve Covey says a plane will take off from one town to go to another place. But within that flight, 90% of the time, the plane will lose its direction. The pilot will have to correct it. Your life is like that plane. You may lose direction, finances. You may lose direction, love wise. You may lose direction, children wise. You may lose direction, corporate wise. You may lose direction, profession wise. You may lose direction, career wise. But remember, you have a vision. Stick to the mission, you'll achieve your vision. Be inspired, be motivated. You can achieve anything you want, but take action. This is the Eagles Heart Life Coach, Well Zondo. Let's keep talking. Thank you.
Wow, that's absolutely powerful and inspirational. You know what I love about when you talk about the difference in motivational speaker and teacher, I really love the motivational teachers because
Mm,
they show you how. I've even say motivational speakers can, in a way, hype you and you don't know how to be when you leave the conference. For me, that's leaving you in a worse situation. You heard something good, oh, powerful voice and speaker, and then what? Oh, that was
yeah.
a powerful talk. And then what for you? Where is it
Mm,
taking you? You don't even
that's
know. You're scratching your head now. So it leaves
mm,
you in a worse situation of not helping you to to gain momentum or even to do what you have to do. And at this stage, I'd love to
mm.
thank our show producer at Paloma Ncoco for bringing us a powerful guest today. And really, this is really Zondo. If you don't want to be demotivated, follow him and follow on. You are on YouTube, you have a page, you are on Facebook. I've tagged you on my profile on Power to Lead Show because this is what we do. We collaborate, we lift each other up, we support each other, and this is how we grow. We are all saying we want to build one great Africa. So the
Oh, yeah.
next time they're going to see us, they will see us in our African ateliers. Hapo
Oh,
sizabe sithethisa.
definitely.
Icula negqirha lendlela nguQongqothwane kuzobe
Ah,
kumnandi.
they're gonna see a Ngoni in his attire, African attire.
Absolutely. That is so beautiful. Now, we cannot close the show, the Empower Hour, without asking you our famous last question. What is the legacy that you leave today and the legacy that you want to leave as your heritage?
You know, the legacy I want to leave today is that the grassroots of Africa, which is the youth, are not afraid to take action on what they want to do. How do I do that? Hence, I do my community outreach program that you find on that website page. Is that I work with high schools, I work with communities, and I focus on youth specifically because they tend to think that there's nothing else, they cannot speak to anyone. So the legacy I want to leave is that always put your head up high and ask for help. Simply ask for help. Simply follow Mr. Zondo and ask for help. Mr. Zondo either will show up or connect you to someone. One lady says what she does is she connects resources to people, people to resources. And I said, okay, I like that. So in my coaching and what I do is that the youth must never feel alone. Yes, you may not have a house with a garage. You may not go to school with the best school shoes. You may not have pocket money. But here's one thing: school is the leveling ground of everyone else. Once you realize that, the future is bright.
Wonderful. Thank you so, so much, Will, for being with us and for giving it all, motivating, inspiring somebody who is listening, and to those who will be watching the show after this live show. Thank you so much to our viewers who are watching all over the world. If you want to have a session with me, I offer a 15-minute free session to assess how you can be helped in life if you need help, you need healing, you need a direction, you need to set your goals, you need to find your purpose. That's my calendar page where you can communicate with me, or otherwise just put on Google Ntsiki Ncoco. It will amaze you. It will show up and show you all my channels online on social media. And I want to say thank you to all our viewers who have been following us, supporting Power to Lead show, and we'll leave you with our beautiful, famous line that as you rise, lift me up. As you rise, remember there is somebody who wants to be lifted up. I'm going to give over to our guest to just give you a word of encouragement as we go through the week so that we finish the week strong. Over to you as we close with.
You took time to listen to this. You logged on and you watched. The whole week is coming up. The only difference maker in your life is yourself. No one is going to come to your life and make a difference. You have to choose the thoughts. The thoughts, choose them. I said when we were speaking that we talk about thinking about our thoughts. So from today onwards, start thinking about your thoughts. Ask a question: what am I thinking? And with what am I thinking? What's coming out of my mouth? What actions am I taking? Transform, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. God bless you. Till next time.
Wow, thank you so much. And thank you to all our viewers. If you want to donate to our channel, as we do this for our NPO, that's our Power with Integrity Gmail, where you can donate on PayPal. That's also our PayPal account. so that we continue to push on this legacy and teaching others how to live and live successfully and fully on life. Thank you so much for being with us. We are better together from Power to Lead Show. We love you and thank you. Goodbye. See you on next Wednesday.